For more, rather, we're joined by Nancy Snow. She's a professor of public diplomacy at the Kyoto University of Foreign Studies. Thank you for your time. Firstly, do you think these sanctions are warranted?
Well, I think that, of course, there's going to be an increase in pressure now that we're coming to the end of the Winter Olympics. Nothing has really changed. The Trump administration keeps ratcheting up the pressure. So whether or not I think they're warranted, I think that the region, certainly Japan, South Korea, other countries are greatly concerned about the nuclear program out of North Korea. Whether or not they'll work is another matter altogether.
Yes, and that was going to be my next question, because as we know, the US has been building sanctions against North Korea since 2008. And they've had little effect on the leadership. In fact, they've been hurting the people on the ground who, as we know, are largely impoverished. I'm wondering what makes these measures more effective?
Well, I think this is a bit of a game of rhetoric. And now that Trump, he was speaking after this conservative political action conference in Washington, so he's throwing out some red meat to a certain constituency that wants him to keep applying this tough pressure. At the same time, though, he sent his daughter, who is a presidential advisor, over to South Korea, and she has said she will do what she can to try to increase pressure on North Korea. I don't know what background Ivanka Trump has in this arena, but beginning with Mike Pence, the vice president at the beginning of the Olympics, who also was coming in with a rather hardened style of communication. This is par for the course. But as you said, going back now over a decade, these sanctions haven't been effective. If anything, it has emboldened North Korea to keep advancing its program, as we've seen with these missile tests. So now those of us sitting here in Tokyo are beginning to look at the skies again and expect further missile tests to come.
And you touched on this just previously, but the new measures have been announced at a time when it seems that North Korea is playing nice, if you like, with their much welcomed participation in the Winter Games in South Korea. What do you make of the timing of these sanctions?
Well, they are naturally, we expected these to come at the closing ceremony. Interestingly, North Korea is sending its head of intelligence, Kim Yong-chol, to the closing ceremony. And this is a hardening gesture, again, on the part of North Korea. This is a man who was held responsible or deemed to be the figurehead behind a number of deaths that occurred to South Korean citizens. So this is going to be worrisome. All of that sort of goodwill and good feeling that came out at the beginning of the Olympics has diminished, and we're seeing politics coming to the fore again.
We also saw that when the South Korean President Moon Jae-in came to power, he somewhat extended an olive branch to the north, having experienced life there when he was younger. Is that olive branch pretty much been taken away, or does Moon Jae-in still hope for talks with the North Korean regime?
Now, he clearly hopes for talks and dialogue, and there is an expected meeting sometime in the future. The hard part for Moon is that he's really caught in between. He has to show that he is behind these sanctions as such a close ally to the United States with so many U.S. forces there. But he also has this background of being progressive and wanting to continue to keep the channels of communication open. And he's a fascinating figure on this chessboard. But it's important that we support his efforts for dialogue. And if the Trump administration wants to be effective here, it's going to have to get a number of countries on board, including Australia and Singapore and others, and of course China, to back these toughest sanctions, as President Trump refers to, if the United States is isolated here on this, or if, say, the United Nations Security Council is not open to this, if there's a bit of an overreach, then this will, of course, weaken the U.S. position. There are always continually moving parts going on in this process. It's a lot of cat and mouse going on.
Indeed, Nancy Snow, always good to get your insights. Thank you for that update from Tokyo.